Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 82 of the Destiny Digest podcast. My name's Danfinity, and today we have Bonafide Hero.
Wow.
Hello. And we have Seth, we have Sarah. Epic Dan and Sammy are indisposed at the moment.
And
Tiddly. And the Tiddly. Tiddly is indisposed as well. So we're just gonna talk about some of the news of the week, some of the things that we played, some of the things that we enjoyed. Bona, what's some things that you played this week? What did you have fun with?
Well, that Tomb of the Elders came out, didn't it? So
it did, yeah.
Jumped on that. I didn't get to jump on it till Wednesday, so after the morning after the launch of that. So everyone had already like figured it all out and be like, oh, this is that's this. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get it. So ran through, smashed that out. Really fun, actually, really fun. You know, it's very much keeps elements of the original and then also brings in elements that they add in like Coil, right? From like seasons ago before Final Shape. So yeah, there's a lot that they've really sort of bought in for that. So it was quite fun. Okay. Other than that, we obviously had when does the Halloween event? When does Festival Lost end? Is that
I believe next week?
Like
next Tuesday
week.
or this coming Tuesday.
I still haven't finished off that seal. So
wait, Festival Lost done, guys.
Is it? Oh, it is done. It is done.
It is
I'm
done.
an idiot.
Okay, cool. It did finish last week.
It finished last week.
Yeah,
that
finished last week.
Thank you, Seth, for keeping us in line.
Cool. Thank you.
I was like, what?
I feel like it was a really long 3 weeks. So like when I thought it was supposed to end,
I thought it was still going on.
Yeah. So I don't know anything anymore.
I'm not. I get it. I'm not collecting candy anymore. It's just stuff's flying at me still, and I forget that that's like tonic stuff. So yeah. Yeah. So last week we were talking about mobile games, and
mobile game.
And I said how I'd never really play a mobile game.
Oh no.
On my phone.
Oh, no.
Where's
this going?
I downloaded Balatro. This was like $9 on the Google Play Store. And it ate periods of my week. If you've never heard of this, it is a game that is coded over poker, but it's you have like a score up in the upper left hand corner that you have to meet each hand or each round, and you have four or five hands in order to meet that score. So you put down like 2 pair. Yep, that's it. That's the one. It came out earlier this year, and a lot of people were talking about it as like this crazy addictive, like really fun game. And I was like, I shouldn't do that because it'll suck my life away. And then this past week I was like, it was nominated for the Game Awards. It's in the I believe it's Game of the Year.
Oh, that's where I've heard it before. I haven't heard anyone talking about it. I've heard it in okay.
Yeah, it was nominated for Game of the Year alongside Astrobot, which I've had a lot of time to play. Which
play again, with that. I hadn't heard of that game before you literally said it last week,
dude.
On like socials.
Astrobot's really fun.
Stream.
It's really cute. It's really fun and cute, and also like in moments, really kind of crazy. There was a boss that you have to climb up in order to rip his head off. And it's bonkers.
Like what sort of boss? Is like an organic boss?
It's a robot. It's a giant robot.
It's sparks and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the Astrobot, like when they did Astro's Playroom, it was like the demo for PlayStation 5. And then Astrobot has kind of like added to that in that like the controller for PS5 is like has a lot of haptic feedback type stuff. So like it feels like grains of sand on the bottom of your feet, on the bottom of your hands when you're running across like a beach or something like that. It does a whole lot of really cool things to cue you in. And Astrobot continues that tradition and then improves on it, and it feels very visceral when you're ripping a robot's head off.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just like picturing like Ratchet and Clank. Is that like right?
Think more Mario. Like think more like Mario. Would say Sunshine, but
I don't know the difference between any of the Mario games.
It's like a 3D platformer Mario.
It's 3D. It's not like 2D.
Yes.
Do we have like any of those 2D Mario, like old school Mario, Sonic sort of games anymore, or are they?
I mean, there's a few. I want to say that Mario puts out like one or two that is always like there's one or two that are developed by certain teams that are always just 2D platformer with like a 3D like shader over them. But yeah, Astrobot's really cool. It's really fun. It tickles my brain in a fun way. Balatro is just the constant need to like try to one up yourself or one up the game by like creating hands. The thing that's crazy about it is that like so you collect these jokers, and these jokers either give you like multipliers or they give you more chips per hand, and they'll ping on certain conditions. Like, oh, it's an ace. I'll give you like, it gives you like plus 80 chips and a ×2 multiplier if you play an ace in that hand. And like, so you're just watching numbers just spiral up, and it's really cool, really satisfying. I think the highest score a hand of mine has had so far is like 40,000 points. Just off of like playing to what the jokers are, and you get like five jokers are the max that you can have in your hand or contributing to your hand at any time. So you're swapping things out. It's just really fun. For $9, it was well worth the time that I spent this week. But I think you can also pick it up on Steam and elsewhere. I'm trying to think of what else I played.
Because we have that poker game in Discord, don't we? Like in Discord voice chats. So just imagine if they like brought it to that, like,
dude. So because the nature of Balatro, it's like a single player game. Like, so you're not. If you had that head to head against other people, like friendships would end. Like because it's it's one of those that when every level you have like a boss hand. And those boss hands can be real sons of bitches.
I see.
Like they'll be like, "Oh, you have to hit this point score within just one hand, just within one play, and if you don't have it, you don't have it."
Right.
So it's
I see. Okay,
it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I think you could get it on like Steam and everything. It is. I feel like it lives up to the hype. It's very good. Picked up Metaphor Refantasio, based on the demo. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay.
It says PlayStation 5 on it.
So it's available everywhere. It's on Steam. You can play you can play the demo on Steam, and it's like it's from the team that makes Persona.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like a fantasy setting.
Persona is Persona PlayStation only, like exclusive, or is it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna ever play growing up. So.
But yeah,
right.
Outer Wilds.
Rev saying play Outer Wilds.
Have a good night, Rev.
Pidge says Destiny's roping him back in. That's good. Have fun with it, bud. But yeah,
that sounded ominous.
Can I go full autism mode here and be like,
sure.
Look at my Pokemon. I've just spent the entire freaking weekend at this large event that I'm now a community coordinator for and a community ambassador.
Of course you are.
Go.
Right?
That's great.
I'm there coordinating 65 people to like jump into like these huge 40-player battles.
Oh my god.
Right? And I'm now like, all right, you jump in, this P. All right, hold off, don't jump in. Like, you know, we're going to this raid next. Fucking jump on WhatsApp group with like 150 people in it and be like, all right, we're going to this location now. Like and then I'm just like, oh, shiny. Like, look what I got today. I got not this, you know, that's full.
Looks like Puff the Magic Dragon, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm going to rename him right now for that, in your honor.
There you go.
So yeah, obviously a shit ton of Pokemon Go. Really got me by the nads.
Yeah.
And then Star Citizen. Like, you know, I jump on Destiny and I just see my roster, just the time of day I'm able to play Destiny. there's just no one on. Right.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah,
I
that is the
can't game.
same feeling. Yep.
And I want to sit there and I want to raid. I want to sit there and I want to smash
Yep.
out like
Mm-hmm.
GMs and stuff. It's not 2022 anymore. You
Right.
know, the hours that I stream and I sort of sit down and I have to play Destiny every week. There's not really anyone on.
Yeah.
So what have I been doing? I've been space trucking in Star Citizen. You know, full on fucking belt up, gut hanging out underneath my t-shirt, freaking trucker hat on, bloody, you know. Yeah, it's good.
My week, my week of games has been like pretty solid. I've been trying to play a lot of things that like aren't Destiny, but I've found myself playing a lot of things that are Destiny. And we're going to be talking about those today, obviously, because like we had Tomb of Elders drop, just like you talked about earlier. So Steph, have you had chance to play any of Tomb?
I played like the basic version to like unlock it. That's pretty much all I played, unfortunately. Haven't really like I said a bit earlier, I don't really want to play this without an actual team. I know it's possible, there's matchmaking, but Onslaught being a great example of that type of activity where I'm like, if I'm gonna do a 50 wave or if I'm gonna do like a really long stretch of that specific
Because that's the
activity.
beauty of this activity is the better you do, the more rewarded.
Exactly, right?
You know,
Same with
so
Onslaught.
yeah, I get that.
It's more like I want to find a fairly solid team to do it with. I don't expect to do like amazing every time, but it's more like, I want to have people that know what they're doing and kind of focusing on the objective itself.
Right.
So I haven't really done that much.
I think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, like it's just I haven't played much lately, so my usual friend group is either not really playing either, which again fair, or just not during the same time that I do. So I'm kind of like, oh well, nobody's online. I guess I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
But what I saw seemed interesting because I remember really liking Coil when it was out. Really enjoyed it. My partner loved Coil, like really loved Coil. Like he would just go in on his own and just run it. It was one of his favorite activities when I came out. So I don't know how similar or not similar to it is, but there is very much like strong links to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So it seems cool. I like the idea of it. I do want to play more of it to kind of figure out if I actually do enjoy it or not. But I haven't played a lot, unfortunately.
How about you, Bona? Like how many? But you played Tomb of Elders this week, right?
I did, yes. Yeah. So I jumped in that. We did that, and then the servers went down on a Wednesday.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Like I remember them saying that was going to happen, but I was like,
you heard them? You knew that was going to happen because we just. Oh wait, no, they did say that, and then an hour before they kicked everyone. But an hour before, like the servers actually was supposed to go down, they said the servers would go down. They kicked everyone that like wasn't in activity, and only the people that were still in activity could play for another hour.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing that, but I was at work and I was like, okay, like it'll be resolved by the time. Yeah, oh no, I wasn't at work. I wasn't at work. I was resting. This week's gone by in a weird way. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
How dare you?
I know, right? But yeah, we I like Tomb of Elders. It's like to speak to like the coil of it all. I do feel like it has a lot of those elements to it without the like the huge spiky messes that come up out of the floor. I despise those in Coil and like eventually would stop running it because I didn't want to keep running into those things. But it does have elements of it. Like I do like the roguelite aspect of it going in. If you do Contest of the Elders, I've run it a couple of times with buds and it's been like a 45-minute experience total to like go in. It just drops loot on you like crazy. If you're keeping yourself up to like Warden's, I think it's called like Warden's Honor ×3 or something like that. as long as you're doing this,
Warden's
yeah,
favor.
Warden's favor. As long as you're doing the side objectives and getting Warden's favor, like you're going to be showered.
Yeah, and can we appreciate that that's like something that's been asked like the longest time is to do something better, or not just like, oh yeah, I killed this amount of champions, therefore I get platinum. Now I get platinum rewards in a GM, or a master.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's something, if you get these challenges done along the way in a certain amount of time, have these enemies killed, you've tick. Not everyone can do that, but if you can do that, then like you said, showered.
Yeah. And like you almost have to pay attention. Like you almost have to have somebody paying attention to it to be like, hey, like.
And that's why I run with Phil. He's like, he picks up every little detail. Like as soon as it changes, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm just, I was like, fucking didn't sleep that night with the little toddler getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. But and then Phil was like, yep, this challenge. I'm like, oh, cheers, man. Thank you.
Sure,
I didn't see it. Thanks. You can tell me that I have to spank freaking Shanks and I'll do it.
Yeah. We had, I really like it. And it could be recency bias where it's just like this first week's great. It's awesome. They do like, it's going to be good forever. And then like, who knows what a few weeks of doing this are going to yield, but it literally like that final room when you've done every wave of it, I believe you do 3 waves where you just get 3 chests. And then like the final wave where it's like, I think everything's swords at a certain point. You get rewarded by going into like a gold room. And you get 3 chests
from the original Prisoner of Elves, isn't it? So
yeah.
Just more jazzed up this one. So.
Yeah, way more jazzed up.
4 or 5.
But it feels kind of like hitting the slots at a casino and like getting the mother load because it just says on that side.
And now you say that, I was also getting like the impression like we've gone back to the whole Zer game show thing with the Warden servitor doing this thing.
Which I like. So, it's silly and weird and fun. So that's probably going to be keeping me around for a little while at least, just because of how difficult it is, or how the vibe is good. The vibe is pretty good with this one. Are they going to be changing it week over week? Is there a different boss every week?
Possibly. As every other content drop has shown in Bungie's entire history, I would say so.
Yeah, I would think so too. I'd be eager to see like, we're seeing all 4 bosses, says Bevy. Okay, cool. That's what I want to know. Thank you, buddy.
4, not 3.
That's interesting.
Breaking the norm there, Bungo.
Yeah, but I've also had I haven't been going in necessarily into contest with blueberries either.
Yeah.
I've been going in with people from my community to go through where we're able to talk to one another and able to call out different things. But I really like this. I really like the encounters. I really like the different side objectives and everything. It just keeps you on your toes and keeps you busy. Even if sometimes maybe ad density is a little it's constantly keeping your head on a swivel to do different things, and I dig that. Outside of like the only thing, do you guys have any like tips or tricks that come to mind when doing Tomb of Elders?
Apart from playing the small amount of time I did before they took the servers down on Wednesday, I really haven't had a chance much else to sort of jump into it. Sort of since then. Ultimately having people that have done it before, like if you jump in for the first time, that sort of know it and not just screaming at you in game chat to say, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." I'm sure that's unhelpful. So if you can find buddies that sort of know how to do it, or people that are offering to sort of help you get it done, then you go and smash that out. But it's a fun, chaotic little experience once you get your head around it.
Um, so there are a couple of things that I found helpful. Um, so there's one of the side objectives where you have the sniper pop up,
Mhm.
and they'll appear like around the outside edge of the arena somewhere along the top. Um, and you'll have like I think like a minute 20 or something in order to find it. It's something along those lines. It's like a short period of time. It's always the one that has like the heavier. It's you fire on all of them, but the one that like doesn't go down in one shot is the legit one that you need to kill within that time period and just get that down. I feel like that one's pretty like self-explanatory. The other one, the decoy mines,
Yeah.
where you have to dismantle mines around the
That got us
arena.
the other day. Yeah.
Oh, dude. So, something to look for if you're like wondering what's a decoy and what's not. Like I don't know if there's a visual cue for those. I don't know if they're a different color from one another, but
I think it's the way they react when you step into them.
so the way
Someone correct me.
one will say deactivating, and that's the one that's bad. You don't want to be you don't want to be doing that one. You want to
Yeah.
be
Charged mines equal fakes, says Sass.
okay. Gotcha. You definitely want to if they're not arc charged, or if they are arc charged, if you step into them, it'll say activating or deactivating. You don't want that. You can just step off quickly because they ratchet up real quick. Defusing are the good ones.
Yep.
That you want to step in on. Those are super. That to me was more useful than trying to look for the color or whatever. It's just like dipping a toe in and being like, no, this is the wrong one. Running to something else. BO says in chat, the visual is very similar to fake chests and warlords. So fair. In the limited time that you guys have played, how have you guys been feeling about the super changes that they brought this week?
Refresh my memory of what they have. So
the one and dones charge at the same rate, and then the roaming supers are supposedly like a 3-to-1.
Yeah, and then we were sitting there last week being like, "Oh, what if this does that? This, but it was like clearly laid out what worked and what didn't.
What very well was going to be working and how it was going to do it.
Honestly, I haven't the little amount of time I have played since the reset onto the Wednesday. I just played my usual, so didn't even get a chance to go over anything. Actually, no, I do lie. Time Behemoth felt pretty good. Sort of a lot more synergy between doing your thing, between supers and then getting your super back, then jumping out. Yeah, no, I do remember noticing that. So
yeah. People in chat are saying Golden Gun is balanced. And I remember Rev saying something about like there's a video out of like the Titan shield, like just the using the melee for it for some reason is giving like 100+% damage just by using the melee. Like I've heard crazy stories about that. But I felt like generally fairly powerful. I was using stasis on my Titan earlier and like felt like it was pretty solid. It was putting in work. Bevy is saying
shield and synthesize is nuts. All right,
yeah,
I'll jump on that.
Yeah, Seeker casually whacking a champ for 400k is wild. Yeah, like it really feels like they turned up the power fantasy on some of those, whether some of those are intended or not, or something else altogether. But I felt like it was fine in how I was using it, but I wasn't really like doing anything too crazy. What about you, Seth?
I haven't really used them. I've seen a lot of people use it. Golden Gun being like extremely easy to get back, which I don't know how that affects. I think this is only in PvE though, which is not because on the end of the world, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That'd be like
I
for
haven't.
like nuts orb regen, wouldn't it? So
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that though. So I don't really know how much it will affect like the whole thing. I'm sure that if it becomes way too much, they'll probably dial it down at some point. For now, I think we should just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, but if it's just in PvE, to me, it's like, yeah, sure. Power fantasy again. Like bring that back. We do. Not that we need it, but sometimes it's like, I feel like it's not as fun as it could be. So this makes it a little bit more fun.
Sometimes they've been known to hammer it down like a little too soon when it
Yeah,
comes to
yeah,
like
for
things
sure.
that people are enjoying that aren't necessarily breaking the game.
Yeah,
But
they do. Yeah. I'm
yeah.
hoping that this one they kind of let it be and see if there's kind of like a not a middle ground, but like a nice kind of a way to balance it out without nerfing it again. I
Hmm.
don't see, I guess.
Yeah. BO in chat is saying that
Yeah,
it's going to be patched in December. So to enjoy it for now.
probably. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like Bungie does have a tendency to kind of be like, okay, let's try to push that a little bit and then
Hmm.
we'll figure the rest out later.
Yeah. But superwise, I was feeling fine for the most part. Um, those were really like two of the big things. Like Tomb and the supers were two of the big things that I wanted to touch back on since we had conversations about them last week.
You don't wanna talk about freaking inverted spire changes?
I haven't played that. I haven't played the inverted spire
I've
yet.
I'm
been waiting
currently in
so
it.
long for that, and I
So
still haven't been able to run it.
so what's different,
I'm
Seth?
uh okay, so first and foremost, I've seen it and now I'm currently playing it for the first time. I'm
Uh
not
huh.
enjoying it. I'm sorry. As much as I love what they did with was it Exodus Crash or whatever?
Yeah.
That was those were great changes for that
Mm-hmm.
specific strike.
Mm-hmm.
This is not it's like it reminds me of like a Shadows. How just not fun it
Okay.
is. It's adding a
I've
bunch so like when you start instead of going, to the little kind of corner that you used to go deal with the elixir that were there, and then you had the platform, you were jumping and so on and so forth. You go over the lake
Mm-hmm.
and you have to kill Vex over the lake
Okay.
for some reason. And then once you do that, you get to a portal. You get transported to that kind of like half platform that used to be on the side where the big Cabal dude used to be.
Mm-hmm.
The big Cabal dude is not there anymore. He is gone. It is now Vex freaking is it not Minotaurs, but the eye guys.
Okay.
Can't
Yeah.
remember the name right now.
Cyclopses.
Thank
Cyclopses.
you. Yes. So it's two Cyclops, and then instead of having the ability to kind of go through either the kind of tunnel or the side of it, the tunnel
Mm-hmm.
now has what Pyramidion used to have, which is like the like rolling lasers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then on the side of that, it has like just line lasers on the ground so that you can't walk in it, kind of like in Proving Ground and the
Mm-hmm.
behind the
Mm.
boss. So
Yeah.
it
So it just
has
sounds
that.
like they've kind of like just gone Vex crazy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. And then so
Is it
there's
still
that.
like a three
Yep.
like staged boss at the end?
I'm not there yet, but from what I see, it is still the boss. I think they changed his health to like it is still 3, but it's 2 small, 1 long for the health.
Okay.
Remember back in
Um,
the day of doing like GM runs with peeps, like just taking people through, and it was you could just cook him on the top floor and then just
Yeah.
fall all the way down. Like it was my favorite thing to do in inverted spire week.
a lot of it is just like instead of having Cabal, you now have Vex,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm kind of I don't know. I don't really like that. It just
Okay.
feels, you know what? Okay, here's what it feels like to me. It feels like, oh, because we're in a Vex heavy season,
Mm-hmm.
they made a Vex heavy strike.
Mm.
But
Okay.
once this season is over, and what's gonna
You
happen?
still have the strike. Like,
You still
because
have the strike,
yeah, they're probably not
but
going
you
to
don't
revert that.
have. Yeah, exactly, right? You're gonna have the
Yeah,
strike,
I
you're gonna
thought they
have
were
all of
working on
these.
this because they announced that they were changing up inverted spire like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So which means they've been working on it since then. And then they brought it out. Like, do you think it's warranted to have taken that long to sort of bring it out? Because they were like, oh, Inverted Spire is going to take a little bit more time than, say, um, what's the one on EDZ that you just said before?
Exodus Crash or Exodus? I cannot pronounce
Well,
it.
Exodus Crash is one of the ones, but the
Lake of Shadows.
That one. Thank you. It was right on my tongue. Yeah. So Lake of Shadows and Exodus Crash. They're like, oh, it's gonna take a little bit longer than that as well. So
I don't know if it was really worth it. Like to me, it's so weird because they had such a banger with Exodus Crash, actually. Like that one was such a banger, right? It was really liked overall by the community and so on and so forth. And then you get this, which, and again, like Lake of Shadows, which to me was just such a failure. I'm so sorry, Bungie. Like I love you for a lot of stuff, but this was just not it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's, to me, that's also kind of not a banger. I don't feel like it needed to take that long to do. And also it just doesn't feel like the same.
Well,
just similar to Lake of Shadows, where Lake of Shadows was just not Lake of Shadows anymore.
So what I'm seeing from chat is that like Seeker's in here saying a GM that feels like a GM, it actually feels like you're trying to infiltrate a Vex base. It's awesome. I guess the tank section, like instead of one tank, they added 3.
Yeah, it's not a chance anymore. You just have them. They're there.
Yeah, and then
which fine.
What else
That's
is here?
not an issue.
And like Bo brings up the fact that it was almost like we needed a Vex strike because trying to get Vex kills in Vanguard playlists kind of sucked. So like
fair.
I can see why they would make those changes. Like I haven't experienced it myself, so I don't know. Like I don't know how it's gonna be. I'm like I will be gilding Conqueror sometime this season, so I'll try to circle back to comment on that. But I don't know. Like sight unseen, I don't know how I feel about these changes. if it feels, for me, liminality is very challenging when it comes to like GMs. And I'm okay with messing with a recipe to like something that feels familiar but also like has new elements to it or like remixed elements to it. I'm kind of fine with those. So like I don't dislike the Lakes of Shadows changes as much as you do, Seth. There are elements to it that I'm like, okay, like this could be, this is a bit much, but like I'm not,
the thing is,
I don't hate it.
For Lake of Shadows, my biggest gripe is that it already in itself, it already had an amazing opportunity to use an existing environment and kind of deviate from the regular path. Use that, like, the radio tower for Segura. You could have used that instead of making us do a payload.
Yeah.
I thought that to me was just such a kind of wasted opportunity. That's one of the biggest reasons why I really don't like a Shadows. Because it went from like a really,
because it slows you down.
It slows you down. It's like just a bunch of bullshit. I'm so sorry. Just to me, it feels like bullshit.
Okay.
But then when you look at like Exodus Crash, I really enjoy the changes. So I don't mind when they change stuff, right? But do it in a way that kind of makes sense or is fun.
That's more
And to
engaging.
me, yeah, exactly. And to me, right now, like a Shadows is not engaging. And Inverted Spire, for now, I haven't completed it. It's also not really engaging. It just feels like it's a bunch of crap thrown at you to make your life harder for no reason. It did not need lasers. Like, why do we have lasers? You want lasers? Bring back Pyramidion. I will deal with your lasers then. No, but like, I'm so sorry, but like, I will deal with your lasers if you bring back Pyramidion. But like, I don't know. It's like throwing a bunch of kind of stuff at you just to make it more difficult to navigate for no reason, type of thing. I don't know. I don't really mind that it's not Cabal anymore, but at the same time, it's kind of weird because it's all in Cabal environment.
Yeah.
So
well, as
I
the
guess
world changes, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something weird about it.
Yeah.
Lake of Shadows is an Overwatch map. Yeah, literally. Like, this is what they did with it. And again, I think I'm really annoyed with that because it had, again, such an opportunity to make something super cool with something that was already there and existing. And they just kind of did not do that.
So here's the thing, though. I like the final boss room in that new Lake of Shadows. I think I like it better.
I don't mind a boss
than
room.
Before. I think the boss room is like
no,
really
the boss
solid.
room is fine.
Yeah.
The rest is not it. Sorry.
I can see the payload being frustrating. BO saying I'd rather have easy obstacles over a static timer. I can't progress further. Fair.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's just, I don't know. It's just not fun to me. There's inherently not fun. And I think that's something that Bungie is like really hit and miss sometimes because again, Exodus Crash, great fun. Really amazing changes. And I was really looking forward to this one because like Bona said, or was it you? I don't know. Somebody said like, oh yeah, they took way longer to do this one, right? So I was like, oh, they took longer. And then on the back of Exodus Crash, okay, it's going to be a good one. Kind of failed to hit that mark.
I don't know.
For me at least.
I'll have to play it sometime this week and like maybe talk about it next week on the show because like I want to like
tomorrow?
What am I doing tomorrow? I have work, but other than that, like
so selfish.
I know, man. I have Thanksgiving this week. Maybe I'll skip out on my family and we can just.
When's Thanksgiving? Thursday.
Thursday,
yeah.
It's Thursday. But yeah.
Taking into account all your American holidays for a dinner.
Fair enough.
Now, ask me about Australia Day. Bona, what are you doing on that day? No, sorry guys, I can't play. I'm going to a fucking barbecue.
I'm sorry. I have been watching Love Island Australia though. That's been awesome.
Stop.
That's my holiday. That's my Australian holiday.
Oh my god.
Other than that, the twid was like fairly
light.
It was fairly light this week around. I think we got updates. We got Iron Banner updates. So like
new armor
is coming. I believe. Yeah, we have sets that are inspired by Wailorian, Nerween, and Orwig themselves.
Yes, I know who they are.
Yes, they're former Iron Lords. And then we had. And then what were there new weapons announced for that? Iron Intent armor sets.
Was there new weapons?
Graced with weapons so strong that they could shatter the skies. The first ever rocket assisted sidearm that uses darkness power of stasis is waiting for the authority.
I was gonna say we have rocket assist. Okay, it's stasis one. Cool, awesome.
Yeah. So we're getting
that'll
a stasis.
go well with our stasis artifact mods this season.
Yes.
Iron Banner. The past few seasons has been kind of hit or miss with me. I haven't really like been marking my calendar to hop in with it because it doesn't really feel like it benefits running with a team anymore. It's really like running with like maybe one or two people.
Yeah, I feel like you got shafted if you ran with the team.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you ran with a team, it was trouble. And like I know I've posted about this on Twitter before, and I've had people be like, "Oh, so you like team stop?" And it's like, dudes, if you knew who I was running with, like that's not the games that we were playing.
Messages like I get, or people like would come into chat, right, and be like,
"Yeah,
bloody stacking assholes," and I'm like, I can't play with my friends,
dude. Like
you're the one match out of the last 10 that I've whooped. What are you on about, dude?
Just
we're getting our shit kicked.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like,
but that's the thing.
I'm on your team, technically.
That was the beauty of Iron Banner before. Like you would 6-stack, you would stomp, or you would get stomp, and that was the end of it. That was Iron Banner. Stomp, get stomp. Like that's it. You would exchange like games with teams sometimes. Like you'd face the same team, you'd win one, you'd lose one. And that's all there was to it. And the games were short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You either got it or you didn't, but that was it. Now you can't even that's the other thing. You would run with friends. You would six stack with friends, stomp, get stomped. That was the end of it. Now you can't even do that. You can't play with friends because you get into these insane matches.
Well, I can play with like one or two friends. And then
but you cannot
any
six
more than
stack
that
anymore.
Yeah.
And then you get put with like another 3 or 4 stack and some solos, like
it's just not as fun anymore. Like, I don't know.
And that's where people would be like,
gone.
oh, I see room in your team. Can I come and play? I'm like, sorry, dude, we're not stacking. Like, we're just gonna do 3 or 4 people. Like, it's shit.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't like that aspect of it because it feels like I'm turning people away or turning people down to play. When in reality, I just want to play with buds. It doesn't matter if we're stomping or not. Whatever. I like. Who cares? Who cares that aspect of it? If I'm getting armor, if I'm getting weapons, and I'm having a good time with my friends,
all that matters.
That's what I'm going for. When I feel like I have to strategize around who I bring with me,
unless I agree to all that. Unless it's Rift, then I'm a sweaty little flanking asshole.
So I believe
I don't like Rift.
I like Rift for that flanking. Yeah.
I'm the guy. Like Rift, obviously Bungie did Halo, right? Rift comes from Griffball in Halo, where you have an energy sword or you have a gravity hammer, and then you have a bomb. The bomb is placed in the middle of a rectangle, like football field sort of thing, and then you have like a goal either side in the middle, and then you literally go there and you smash each other with gravity hammers or energy swords, and you have one guy picks up the ball, then it's basically like a 3v4. The 4 guys in the other team are trying to kill you to get the bomb to go and score, and you're trying to score, and your buddy's trying to defend you. That's like my shit. And I was always so good about like positioning and jump in and like going over and just score. And then I was like, oh cool, I love Rift because I'm like, all right guys, go over here, freaking do that, like pull attention over this way. I'm gonna go this way. Oh cool. Oh shit, I've got like speed boost. I'm gonna go jump up and over, and just some of my best ever PvP plays are just me with the freaking Rift, just slamming it and killing like 6 people, or like getting over the top of people, or running through like 3 people to like score. Like it's one of the most adrenaline filled bits, other than raid contest mode. Like just about to defeat a boss, right? All that adrenaline release. It's like stuff I can't say on an open podcast, right? It's I can get real dirty, but that's the sort of feeling that you get from Rift.
Yeah,
I get from Rift.
Yeah.
So when they put that in Iron Banner, I just play the crap out of it.
Yeah. I believe it's going to be Control. It's Control is going to be the game for the first week.
Control next week.
They haven't said what it's going to be for the second week, but
I need to find a team.
Yeah.
Well, 2 more people.
Find
3 more people.
2 to 3 more people.
Yeah, that's all. That's my team. But and here's the thing though. I used to do that sometimes before, like when Iron Banner was around, where like if I really wanted to and I'm gonna call it sweat, but it's not sweat. But if I really wanted a quote unquote challenge, there's 2 other people that I would run with. One was my friend Michael, and it's Bull, which are like 2 great PvP player. And like we would 3 stack, and we would go into Iron Banner, and like we would sweat our ass off because it's 3 of us with like random people, and we're trying so hard to win these matches, right? But that was a choice. That was like an actual choice of me, like, I want to do it this way. Instead, now, like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, 3 to 4 people. Otherwise, they're just not going to have a great time. And it's kind of like, man, I miss the quick matches. The just having fun with friends and then just fucking around. But oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe one day it'll come back.
I will say, so this week, I've been running a charity campaign this week. And part of
plug it.
Yeah, okay, we'll do. Part of it was originally just going to be one day. It was just going to be Tuesday, and we were going to run an extra long stream. And then this is we call it Feeding Frenzy. It goes to support Second Helpings, a food rescue charity based out of my hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana. I am very well practiced in saying that aspect of it. The goal this year is the goal this year is to raise like $5,000 for Second Helpings, because they've they do all sorts of stuff. It's like a lot of culinary training stuff. They rescue like millions of pounds of food every year. They distribute that food to other partner agencies and to people within Central Indiana. It's really cool. And so far we've raised $3,400 for the cause just by like it feels less stressful doing it in multiple days than in one day.
Yeah.
But on the one day when we had planned for it to be that, Dunes and I hopped into some Crucible on PlayStation 5, and it was nutty. Just the amount of fun that I was having. I was just running in with glaives and just head first, no thoughts, just glaving. And I haven't been somebody to glaive for like a few seasons now, just because there's nothing really a bit to benefit me. But I was running that with what was the I had some arms on. I forget what I had on my arms. I was running ACDO feedback fences on top of that, and it was just stupid. It was just a lot of stupid fun running headfirst, just stabbing things. And I remember feeling that way with Banner, and I was like, man, next week's gonna be fun. I was like, oh well.
Oh, God.
Maybe only if there's 2 or 3 of us running in there with glaives.
Yeah.
With stand-asides.
Sadly.
But yeah. I don't know. It's been pretty fun. We'll probably play some next week on stream just because I don't know. Iron Banner can be fun.
It still can be. It's just
Yeah.
you have to go with very specific parameters. And
Yes.
That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate bit. BO says now you can Iron Banner with all glaives, and if you think that I'm not going to try that, you're going to be wrong.
I'm already teeing up Crismo.
you, me, and Crismo next week.
Okay.
Oh God.
We'll be the 3 stack.
Yeah. Let's glaives for Daves, my guy. Glaives for Daves. But yeah, so I did have fun playing Crucible, and I think that I need to kind of like maybe get back into the groove of doing that a little bit more, because it was a blast. I had a blast. But outside of that, it feels like the only other thing that they really announced was that they want our feedback on so we're getting Bungie Bounty is returning on the 21st, or it started on the 21st. And then we're getting weekly surveys for D2 fashion feedback. That they're asking us about. So they said, with that in mind, let's take a look at what we have to share this week. Below are some themes that we'll be including in this week's survey. The description gives you a feel of how the theme might play on a design or armor set. So they have like wolf bounty hunter, Viking Norse, Scorpion assassin, Cyber Samurai, Speedster Recon, Ethereal Monk, Alchemist Savant, Mantis Battle Monk, Bat Nightblade, and Fox Trickster. Which
I need a Mantis Battle Monk. That is just going to be so much fucking fun to say. Mantis Battle Monk. That's my thing for the week. That sounds like the most kick-ass D&D character ever.
It reminds me of like Cyberpunk when you could get those Mantis arms.
Yeah.
Like in the game. Like it reminds me of something like that. Like,
well, you got that, and you've also got the Cyber Samurai that they also said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, you want to know what it reminds me of? Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
There is a Mantis in that.
There is a Mantis in there. So I was like, that's gonna first thing comes to my mind. That's what it does.
Yeah.
I haven't made my way around to those kids' movies with my toddler yet. We've just started Moana, and it's just on repeat at the moment. So maybe we'll hit
Moana's good at least, but yeah.
Like, I feel like.
But is it?
Go ahead.
Is it what they want us to aim for, or is it like?
So these are the options that they've given us to tell them what we would like to see in future armor sets, or like the season pass or Eververse.
I'm gonna. Okay, here's the thing, and it's not even about that. But here's my little like grain of salt or whatever you want to call that. Bungie.
Sarah's grain of salt corner.
Or like my moment of salt, I guess. Whatever. Bungie, please go back to the old sets, revisit the old sets, and fix them so that they shade correctly.
Or no.
What?
This is my thing. I've been saying for years.
What?
A shader rotator.
Yes.
You press a button which will rotate the shader 90 degrees and then just apply that.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. That's
right?
fine.
That will fix everything.
No, it won't. It won't.
Fix everything.
There are sets of armor that have pieces of it that do not shade.
Fair.
They don't shade at all.
And I ran into this because I have a Titan helmet that I've wanted to use forever.
It pisses me off
on my Titan because it just looks cool, and it's one that like it's the competitive spirit helm from like I think it was the very first Guardian games in Destiny 2. But it sucks. It sucks to run because like it has this red piping around the visor and along the and like down below that doesn't match anything when you shade it like darker. But I'm running a shader right now that does have red on it. It's like
black, isn't it? Yeah.
That's
it's so annoying. There's like a lot. Okay, so here's one of those that I really would like to use on, for example, on Warlock, the Kairos function robes. They're really cool. They're like Osiris inspired, Mercury inspired robes, but there's like it's a green robe at its like basic form.
Yeah.
There's like a side motif on the side of it, on each side of the robe, on like the green color. But if you try to apply a shader to it, that green motif does not shade. It stays green. So you're stuck having to find.
There's quite a few bits of armor that sort of do that, isn't it? Like
exactly,
it's part of the aesthetic. So it's like.
But no, it's like the Yoga Sundown, the freaking Mercury, not the Mercury, the Mars one. Those have the yellow piping.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm talking about won't fix that, so I do apologize.
No, unfortunately. I love your idea, though. I would love that, too. I would love that possibility.
Because it's literally like... Yeah.
I want the old sets to be revisited so that they fully shade. But to be fair, there's also like a recent set that also does not shade. The freaking like world set that has the it's like hive inspired. It has like this bone thing. It's like a yellow color on it. That yellow color does not shade. And I'm like, why the hell would you release that? Like why? At least make it white.
So another question that I have, like, have you gotten the D1 sets that were inspired by like the cover box art for D1? Have you
the basic
the 10th anniversary one?
Yeah, the 10th anniversary sets.
I didn't go and do that.
Okay. Was it from Onslaught?
No. So you went into the tower inside the Traveler, and there are caches that you pick up. And so you pick up these caches.
People were like farming like the Skywatch for something, like getting all the things they needed to for a while. What was I playing?
I don't know if I did. I don't know if I did.
Go see if you can like grab those, because I felt like they were interesting. Like they did pay homage to those sets, but also I feel like the proportions were a little weird on them.
I mean, the really old Destiny 2 sets, the proportions are weird.
Yeah, that's
if you look at the very old ones, like the very first few sets, they're very like not the same as the ones we have currently. They're really kind of weird a little bit, which is unfortunate. But yeah, to me, it's more like cool. You release new sets, that's great. But can we also get the old sets? Like, just get a pass on them to make them fit with the current.
I would maybe not expect to see that until like they touch armor the new, is it 3.0? Is it Armor 3.0 at this point? Like the changes that they're making.
But even then, they did it with like Armor 2.0 and they still didn't change those.
Yeah.
It's more like it's a quality of life, and they really want people to go into the fashion stuff. Well, then bring the old fashioned back to us too. And that way you can re-release these armor sets too. So people that didn't get to get them back in the day can get to have them, and then people will go to Ada and grab the blah blah blah. You know, it's an economy thing. Like look at it as an economy thing. People will spend their time / money on that, in my opinion.
So another thing that's with this, the names for these themes, it kind of feels like if you go to a random name generator for a character, like a little bit, right? It's just
Yep, I agree.
like I think Monk has popped up a couple times, which like Monk stuff would be really cool. Like I think the Ethereal Monk set is one. Flowing minimalistic armor with a serene spiritual feel. Cool. I'm into that.
Mhm.
Alchemist Savant, armor featuring vials, potions, and arcane devices. That sounds perfect for a warlock. That's great. You know what I mean? So like these, it's
just
neat.
trying to think of like monk armor, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine like monk armor where it's like kind of almost like this futuristic sort of undersuit armored sort of bits, but then you have the robes sort of
Yeah.
over and almost like glowing, like spiritual sort of glowing coming from the armor as well.
And-
like that'd be so cool. But like all the helmets are kind of like that and sort of smooth, rounded. You know, not to say all monks have no hair, but you know, it's that sort
Like-
of smooth, rounded sort of visor helmet. You know what I mean? Like,
Very minimalistic. It
I
has
think
to
that'd be
be
really
very
cool. You see it in so much like sci-fi genre where you know there are space monks. So,
Or
Mhm.
maybe they're friars. Maybe they just have the ring of hair
Oh no,
around the out.
no.
Like
no.
think about it. Think about a helmet that
No.
just has that
Nope.
along the outside
Nope.
edge.
aren't
Nope.
those like eunuchs?
No.
Mm.
It's
Oh.
like Franciscan friars.
They're
have
celibate
that.
because all monks are
Yeah,
celibate.
they are
No.
celibate. Yes.
Well, not all monks are celibate, but these type of monks are.
If they're
But
cloistered.
no.
If
Yes.
they're cloistered monks.
But Dan,
I think we're getting off the topic.
We're not doing it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
But yeah,
No.
it's like some
We're
of
not
these
doing
sound
friar
pretty
monk.
cool. Scorpion assassin. that sounds dope. I want to see the sets. I like
Yeah.
if you
Like
give me
I'm
words.
here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, but I'm also like I'm just gonna have to say like it's just like some 10-year-old was like coming up with like all these different names. Like, what do you want to see in a video game? Freaking Scorpion
Yeah.
Assassin.
Hell yeah, Scorpion assassin.
Cyber Samurai.
I'm 38
like,
and I
it's
want to
just-
see that. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
That is
But,
like, I'm here for it. I want those things. But I'm just like, you know,
I
if
think
you would have asked me to come up with names, I'd be like, I don't know, like sleeping dad. Like it's
yeah,
like one of those
sleeping.
you just got a fucking night hat on, some
Elder
freaking
millennial.
buttoned up pajamas.
Millennial.
You got a fucking hoodie on and shit.
A band shirt.
I swear.
Good times. Good times. No, but like for this, instead of seeing like the words, I guess I would want to see the mock-ups of like not like full mock-ups of like a character, but like maybe some aesthetic
sort of,
choices, something.
Yeah.
Design inspirations.
Yeah. Fox
Like
Trickster.
early concept.
That sounds cool. I could see a hunter rocking that very
You
easily.
know what? Like, give it to, but where we've had like Stella who made the Arbalist ornament, put it to the community. Like, have like a bunch of community members design some like, okay, here's Cyber Samurai,
Yeah.
here's Ethereal Monk, here's all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put it out to the community, people submit it, and then we can be like, okay, we have our idea. Right, and then the devs can go and develop it, and then people can go and like, you know, it's
Warframe
huge
style.
community engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Warframe style.
Because like, all right, we're talking about like other games they're playing, like Star Citizen, right? Had this big thing years ago when they were like, oh, we're gonna get the community to design a ship, and that ship is now unlike any other ship in the game, and one of the like the favorites. It's a community designed ship that they put in the game like years ago.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of legal stuff, so that's kind of why they don't really do it that much.
Yeah.
So I get that part, but yeah, I would love to see more of the community stuff because Warframe does it in a really beautiful way. And also like the artists not only get recognized for their work, but they also get paid for their work. And they also get I believe they get residuals from it.
Yes.
Which is great. It's a fantastic way to support your own community. So and they kind of did it a little bit with some I I think it's exotic ornaments for
Mhm.
weapons. So that was cool. I love that idea, and I hope they do it more. But yeah, those sets, because it's also like resource intensives when you think about
Yeah.
it, for like even ad Bungie themselves, like to try to come up with all of these sets and all of these things. And the
Mhm.
other thing is, like Bona said, if you do it through the community, like here are like all the themes. Pick one, pick more,
Mhm.
pick whatever, and then submit your ideas, and then the community is gonna vote,
The same way
right?
they have done for exotic ornaments.
Mhm.
Exactly. So
Or freaking Halloween freaking
yeah,
armor sets.
exactly. So like Bungie artists are not like their time is not taken for that. It can be put on something else if needed. And then the community gets more involvement.
Like fixing Seth's textures.
Thank
Woo!
you. Yes. No, but
Brought it back
but
around.
yeah, it's but it also just, I don't know, it drives up engagement, and it shows
Yeah.
that like they care about the community. They want to keep the community involved.
Mhm.
So I think it would be great for that, in my opinion. And it worked well the last few times I did it. So I don't see why it wouldn't work for that. And it also, because, artists do like mock-ups or designs or whatever,
Mhm.
people can vote. And now the community can be like, oh, what are these sets? No, you're
Mhm.
gonna pick the set that you want, and there's gonna be like a bunch of possibility or options for you to vote on. So it's gonna be really like, here's what the community wanted. There you go. I don't know. I think it's a cool way of doing things, and I wish they kind of did that a little bit more often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have one question submitted by BO asking, do we think that the seasonal story pacing will change with the next episode? We forced Bungie's hand to not time gate the story each act. Now, lots of sentiment is that it feels too short right now. Mind if I start?
Go for it.
Sorry, I mind.
I am
All
also
right,
kind of
go for it.
Nah, okay.
But no, personally, where I am in my life, content creation or not, like 40-hour job. I have an interest in other games outside of Destiny.
Yeah.
And I want to, like, the time that I have in Destiny is limited, and I want to maximize the amount of time, like what I'm doing in that time. I really like this act structure, like this way of delivery, better than if I feel like it respects my time more. This act structure delivery than last episode, because I don't feel like I'm doing something for 30 minutes and then I've put in my engagement hour, or like my time of engagement, for like I've clocked in with Destiny, and then next week I have to clock in with Destiny, and then the next week I have to clock in with Destiny. This feels like I've knocked out the story bits that I'm interested in all in one chunk, and I'm not gated for activity, because who knows if like contests would have been like week 2 or week 3 of Act 2, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gated for activity, and I feel like I can play what I want with my time after I roll through those stories. I hope that they, like, for episodes, I hope that they do not change the pacing, because like for me it feels better. Also, like, here's the selfish content creator part, is that it's much easier to just like, as a creator who also wants to like branch out and create content for other games and everything, it also makes it much easier for me to be like, okay, on December, or on November 21st, there's new stuff coming out on that day, and I can knock it out in an hour and a half, and then I can do stuff with chat, or I can do, and then like the rest of my schedule is fairly free to play other games. Like, that's the selfish content creator part of it.
I feel like we went over that last week. That
yeah
bit was, it's definitely structured in the way that they now understand that they can't sort of keep up with, being everyone's main game. Does that make sense? Even though people will continue to do so, but yeah, it's that being sort of respectful of everyone's time in a way. So I get that.
So I don't know. I like it personally in that regard. What are your
I like it too.
Bona stuff?
I prefer that. I prefer it this way too.
Mhm.
Because if I want to knock it all out, then I can knock it all out. If I want to take my time and focus on other stuff, then I also have that option. It
Mm-hmm.
also helps me. That's just me, maybe, but like it also helps me catch up on like last act
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't completely finish because
Mhm.
I was busy with other stuff or I just didn't feel like playing that much. So I don't know. I think it's better this way. It's now if it's a question of like people feel like it's not really fleshed out, it would still have not felt like it was
Yeah.
fleshed out if it was over a few weeks. Like
I
it
think
would have been more
felt worse.
dire.
It would have felt worse.
Yeah, exactly. It would have felt like much more worse
Mhm.
if it had been over like I don't know 5 weeks or whatever. I don't remember how long it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But if you're like, oh my god, an hour and a half, I'm done. Imagine an hour and a half, but having to wait 5 weeks for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god, would I have just completely disconnected until everything? Because a lot of people used to do that. They would be like, okay, well, I know the story is not going to be out for like I don't know 5 weeks. See you in
Mhm.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Then they just knock it all out in 5 weeks. And the other thing about that was that it is extremely well, it used to be extremely repetitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, oh, go talk to whatever person, go do whatever activity, go talk to the other person again, go do whatever activity. Okay, you're
there's
done for the week.
there's
Okay,
still a little bit of that
next week, same thing. Well,
because
yeah, for sure.
especially with like Ido, like go talk to Ido at the hologram, which is like 10 feet away, and then you have to talk to Ido
No, I know,
afterward.
yeah,
Like you still have a
100%.
little bit of that, but I feel like maybe they did some editing to be
I think so. Yeah, it
to be
feels like it at least.
we have to fit this within 1 week instead of over 4.
Yeah.
And
So
I like that better than the
Me too.
alternative.
Me too. But again, and if it's a question of people are like, oh well, there's not much to do, it would have felt worse.
Yeah.
If it would have felt way worse if it was over 5 weeks or whatever
Yeah.
than it does right now. Because right now it's like, okay, you've done all the story. Well, focus on other things. If you want to finish other things related to the season, then now you can focus on that. Or you can go, spend your time in Tomb of Elders, or you can go do Onslaught to craft tonics. Which, by the way, I'm not a fan of the tonics things, but maybe that's just me.
I've been seeing that a lot. I've
Not a
been
fan
seeing
of it.
that a lot of
Yeah.
people feel like it's kind of like
It's too
senseless,
grindy.
but like
It's way too grindy, in my opinion. Like
as
the idea of it, sure, but
as somebody who
application is
plays a
not.
lot, I get a lot of I get a lot of things passively. I'm not even thinking about those kinds of collections like in an
Mhm.
active way. And so like I'm not that's to get tonics is not what I'm playing for. I even like to even put them on, I forget to do that sometimes.
I
But
do
like
too. Like I don't think
I'm
about them, but it's unlocking
yeah.
all of them. I feel like it's way too grindy. That's my
But
biggest
but more
issue.
to your point before is like I also
Yes.
like this because it allows me time to do aspirational content.
Yep.
Like instead of like clocking in for the for the like
For your
hours.
shift. Yeah.
Yeah, for the shift and then
Mhm.
like going and doing something else. I feel like I can do aspirational things and get story stuff done. So I don't know. I could be very wrong in all this. Like I am but one content creator. I am not the end all be all on that. Bo says thanks for the answers. Just wanted more input because that checklist feels is definitely getting smaller, leaving more room to do other things or games. Exactly. Yeah. It leaves
I
you
think
more
that's the
open to do
point.
aspirational stuff. And that's
Yeah,
great.
I think that was the point with that, and it's not a bad thing. I know it feels
Yeah.
like maybe the content is a little bit light, which
Mhm.
fair. I'm not going to disagree with that in any way, shape, or form. But I like the fact that we're not stuck doing story stuff for
Mhm.
weeks on end to be able to do inspirational stuff
Or
and
I'm doing
cram
enough
that all
story
at the end
stuff
of
to
the
not
time.
forget the story stuff.
Yeah, yeah, also that. Yep.
Because I found myself like week over week is like, huh, what are we doing? What are we like? What is this now?
Where are we at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
sometimes I would find myself doing that when you'd have like maybe 10 to 15 minutes of like a story thing to do each week. It's just never
I
been my
I
favorite.
agree with that.
We did get another question that pertains to the previous question from Mod Sherpa. He says, do you think that they'll backtrack on crafting stuff given this feel of valuing your time?
I think that's kind of like not to like fully remove it, but there'll still be definitely weapons that are craftable going into the future.
Mhm.
But the chase has been brought back for activities where they do drop this weapon and then you
Oh,
want
yeah.
this role, and the fact that we can now enhance them by like leveling them up and all that, I think that's like one of the best things like they could have done in those regards. It's like coming away from a focus on crafting and
Mhm.
now improving, I think is a complete and total win.
Yeah. I like I would engage with crafting things just mainly to have it done. Like to knock out
Yeah.
just to checklist the 5 red borders that I need. I'm still doing that with Garden of Salvation. Like if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just
I still
checklisting.
need to do that.
Yeah, I'm checklisting those weapons. So it's like if I want to craft, if there's a version of that I want to craft later on that is either cracked or more reliable than a drop that I can get at the moment, then cool, sure, I will do that. But I feel like with the activities that we've been given lately, and especially with like the way that they sold things at Banshee this week, like I feel like they're trying to respect our time more and
Mhm.
the grind that we're going for um with the drops that we have and like giving Banshee those god rules was really cool, really smart of them. Good make good. We talked about that last week. With Contest of Elders, if you spend 45 minutes in there, like I think before stream today I cleaned out 60 slots for gear before I put in like a close to 8-hour shift, like playing games on stream. And I'm back to full, like just within that time period, which isn't normally a thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel. Contest of Elders by itself, like I said earlier, it's just like a slot machine, man. Like it was just rolling. So I don't know. Um, do I feel like crafting values my time? A little bit. Like I think it's fine. Do I like getting a drop better? Absolutely. So I don't know. It also like everybody values their time differently too. So I don't want to be speaking to somebody who has like only 3 hours to play a week. I don't want to be speaking for them in that um but for me, my time, I feel like we're just getting a lot of stuff. And with that a lot of mats and with that a lot of ways to get new weapons.
To me, my only issue right now, it's maybe because I'm not playing correctly, which fair. The one thing I don't like at the moment is that last season was more like the traditional model where you had like the craftable weapon, but also
Yeah.
just the weapon you could get. But at failsafe, I can still grab those weapons, right? I can go straight in and be like, I want to grab these weapons. I don't have that currently with Ido. Again, might be because I'm not playing correctly, which completely fair if that's the case.
Yeah.
But that's one of my slight gripe at the moment is I cannot focus weapons. I dislike that. You want me to grind? No issue with that. I've done it before. I will do it again. That's okay. But I would like not an easier way, but once I have it unlocked, once I have that weapon, if I have the freaking engrams for it, I would like to have a easy way of turning those engrams, focusing those engrams to try to get that role that I want. You can focus with tonics. Oh, fair, but I don't like the tonics. And my tonics are not completely unlocked, right? I don't know. I get that, but I
That's a
also
way of
like
engaging with the system.
An engaging way of focusing that stuff.
That's fair, but I also would still like to have the more straightforward way because if I don't play a lot, which I used to play a lot, and if I don't have everything unlocked, I can't even imagine people that don't play a lot for this game.
Yeah.
Like
it's almost like it. I get what you're saying there. Like this is, I think they go in the right direction almost, but for me, it's out of sight, out of mind for that.
Yeah.
Because I have to go to an external place, and it's not centralized.
It's not where you've been trained
right
to
in
do
front
it.
of me. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I have to go to open up my tabs and then go into another place, then go into another place to
Yeah,
see it,
I don't like
instead of
that.
being like, okay, I'm going back here to collect all my missions and do everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not there anymore.
I just wish it was a bit more straightforward because,
Mhm.
again, like I said, if I, who hasn't played much but normally plays a lot, is kind of struggling to be able to get those weapons at the moment, I can't even imagine people that don't play a lot.
Yeah. Something that Black Zard brings up that I think helped Into the Light quite a bit with activity, with weapons, with that kind of grind, was if the episode weapons had visual shinies, it'd be nearly perfect. Like if you could get,
That
if
you
you
can
could,
only get during the episode, like
they,
whilst that's the focused episode
yeah, that you
of
could
each
only get
episode.
during the episode. Like if you did Contest of Elders, you're guaranteed one every other chest drop or
And
something.
that's something we can free the design team up for by doing community votes. Yeah, see, we're working together.
Yeah, I feel like that. I think that that's a really solid like look at that. It's they the tried and trust tried and true weapons of Into the Light. Like that was great. You saw all sorts of engagement right before and hype leading into the final shape because you had the ability to get weapons that were gated to like that time.
Yes.
It was for that period of time. You were there, you did the thing, and you were rewarded cosmetically.
I agree with it, but they would need to go with the drop rates that they had at the end.
Mm. Yeah, that's fair.
Because,
That's fair.
like, I'm so sorry, but it I got lucky with a lot of the weapons that I have, but there are still some weapons that I wish I could have gotten a shiny that was better than what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And when they finally kind of made the drop rates better, it was towards the end where I was kind of already getting burnt out of the activity slash events slash
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So don't like, yes, make us grind, like for sure, but also reward us. And I think they're on a right path
Mm-hmm.
towards that at the moment overall. But it's one of those things where I'm like, yes, Tomb of Elders is very rewarding as from what I've seen and whatnot. But for those shinies, it would have to be a much better rate, like the
Yeah.
end rate that we got, but from the beginning, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spend my whole life grinding away in Tomb of Elders, especially it's something that's going to go away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Make it fun, make it interesting, make me want to play, and so on and so forth. But yeah,
I engaged way more with focusing those weapons than I have crafting over the last year.
for
Like
sure.
I enjoyed being like, yeah, I want to get this thing for my collection because it looks cool, it's nice.
Mhm.
And I did that way more than adding like a memento to a weapon. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I don't know. Good thoughts, good questions. If there's no more questions and no more thoughts,
Empty brain.
yeah, empty brain. Then
Mm.
let's get to the end of the show. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much if you're listening to this after we've recorded it. We are recording these every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. Right now on my channel, but soon on other channels as well. Hopefully, if we can get all that worked out. This goes out live this will go out live tonight on podcast platforms of choice. Wherever you get a podcast, you can listen to this on your drive home from work. With that said, Bona, why don't you tell folks at home where they can find you on the internet, sir?
What did I say last week? Anywhere but Twitter.
Anywhere but Twitter, I believe is what you said. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's at Bonafide Hero.
Yeah, at Bonafide Hero, everywhere, the same place. I now do Blue Sky instead. As I saw for a few people, it's Twitter for the left, even though I'm more central left going to politics. But it's like
feels more chill. I don't care about the political leaning as much as how chill it feels.
I'm so glad not to see porn bots and freaking just people hating each other just constantly.
Yeah.
So, there's that. And live definitely Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday every week with other stuff here and there.
Seth, where can they find you, friend?
Blue Sky, pretty much. That's pretty much all I kind of gone into. I don't post much, to be fair, but yeah, Blue Sky, same name as Eseipha, and mainly you'll find a lot of book content right now because that's mainly what I do right now. It's just read books. So yeah, don't say I didn't warn you.
And my name is Danfinity. You can find me on Twitter and the Instagram and the TikTok, and just about anywhere at DanfinityGG. You can find me on Blue Sky specifically. We're talking about this. I really like Blue Sky. I feel like it's growing at a good rate, and they're taking care of the shitheads as they come in. So that's great too. But you can find me there at danfinity.gg. This week you can find me on Tuesday. I don't know about Thursday yet, but next Sunday, while I'm doing helps, we'll be raffling off a piece from a Resolute. That is the Leviathan's Breath piece. It just looks super awesome. If you're listening to this on the day that it's released, you have till Tuesday to donate like $5 or more to get in for a Cloud Strike piece of his. He's all original work. He's shipping it out internationally, so don't feel like that's a limitation there. All of the money goes to a good cause of second helpings, and it's been really cool. I think chat's made. I think I have to watch the Lord of the Rings extended editions in like a marathon. We've been the Destiny Digest podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.